The command deck of the Jaime Hegemony flagship, Eternal Glory, was silent for a moment, glowing only with the blue light of tactical screens. Then the silence broke into cheering as alien officers saw the final images of the collapsing human defense line near Jupiter. Standing at the center of the deck was Admiral Kim, tall and proud, his silver scales shining under the display lights. His 4 eyes blinked one after another, a sign of deep satisfaction among his species. On the large holographic screen, human ships looked small and broken. They were retreating in panic, leaving behind burning debris. The last human command ship had just been destroyed. Commander Choi, Admiral Kim's closest advisor, stepped forward with a proud smile. Another victory for the hegemony, Admiral. The humans fought well, but they are still primitives. Admiral Kim nodded slowly. 10 years of war. 10 years of wasted time. But finally their resistance ends today. The officers from the 17 species of the hegemony were already celebrating. They believed the war was over. Their fleet outnumbered the humans 5-1, and their technology was centuries more advanced. Earth, they believed, never had a chance. Admiral, an officer said, stepping forward. Human fleet is in full retreat. Jupiter line is gone. Cheers shook the command deck. Officers clapped, shouted, and laughed. They had waited for this moment for a decade. Send the victory report to High Command, Admiral Kim ordered. We will reach Earth in 12 hours. Their world will finally kneel. The hologram zoomed in on the solar system. Earth glowed softly, a lonely, weak blue world. To the hegemony it looked helpless. Admiral Kim took a deep breath. The long war, which cost millions of lives, was almost over. Or so he believed. Deep under Earth, in a hidden bunker. Far away, buried deep under the Rocky Mountains, another command center watched the same battle, but with different eyes. General Song stood in front of a large tactical screen. The lights of the bunker were dim and the room smelled of metal and oil. The atmosphere was tense but controlled. Jupiter defense line has fallen, Colonel Yun reported quietly. Everything is happening exactly as we planned. General Song nodded. His face was calm but his eyes were sharp. Good. Then it is time. He walked to a sealed terminal made of black metal. He placed his palm on the scanner and typed a long, complicated code. A message flashed on screen. Confirm protocol, Lazarus. General Song hesitated for 1 second, only one, then pressed confirm. Send the signal to the Phantom Fleet, he ordered. Operation Lazarus begins now. Colonel Yun looked nervous. Sir, are we sure this is necessary? We have lost so many ships. Our losses were part of the plan, General Song said firmly. For 10 years we hid our true power. We gave the hegemony exactly what they expected. He paused, then continued. We showed them old ships, old weapons, old tactics. We lost battles we could have won. We sacrificed fleets to complete the deception. At that moment, the doors opened and Admiral Han walked into the bunker. Her uniform held the secret symbol of Earth's Dreadnought Division, a project known to fewer than 100 people. The Dreadnoughts are ready, she said. They have been ready for many years. Colonel Yun turned to her, shocked. 12 Dreadnoughts, hidden this whole time? Admiral Han nodded. Hidden inside a dimensional pocket beyond Pluto. No scanner in the galaxy could find them. General Song looked at the display of Earth. It showed the last human ships fleeing in chaos. All this time, the hegemony believed we were weak, he said. Now they will learn the truth. Hegemony flagship, a warning appears. Back on the Eternal Glory, Admiral Kim reviewed reports with a proud expression. Victory celebrations had already begun across all 17 hegemony home worlds. But then a junior officer ran toward him with fear in his eyes. Admiral, we are detecting strange energy waves at the edge of the solar system. Kim waved a dismissive hand. Probably damaged human ships. There is more, the officer insisted. We also intercepted a human message. They mentioned something called Operation Lazarus. This time Kim froze. Lazarus, he whispered. The ancient story of a dead man brought back to life? Yes, Admiral. Kim's 4 eyes narrowed. Something felt wrong. Very wrong. Increase scanner sensitivity, he ordered. I want full combat readiness. Commander Choi stepped beside him. High Command already announced victory across the galaxy. Perhaps too soon, Kim said quietly. He stared at the blue dot called Earth, and for the first time felt a cold chill. Beyond Pluto, something awakens. Far from sunlight at the edge of space, dark ripples spread through the void. Then something massive appeared. A hidden dimensional pocket broke open. From its depths came 12 gigantic dreadnoughts, each over 5 kilometers long. Their hulls swallowed light. Their engines hummed with power no one else in the galaxy knew humans had. On the bridge of the lead ship, Captain Kong stood tall. "All dreadnoughts online," an officer said. "Operation Lazarus is active." Captain Kong looked toward the distant direction of Earth. "The hegemony thinks we are defeated," he said quietly. "Let's show them how wrong they are." The dreadnoughts accelerated toward the inner solar system, cutting through the dark like silent giants. And the real war was about to begin. The 12 human dreadnoughts cut across the darkness like silent blades. No engines roared. No lights flashed. Their movement was smooth, unnatural, something that should not have been possible according to the galaxy's known physics. Inside the bridge of humanity's shield, Captain Kong watched the scanners quietly. "Distance to hegemony fleet?" he asked. 200 million kilometers and closing fast, his science officer, Park, replied. "They do not detect us yet." Kong nodded. "Good. They still believe we're running away." For 10 years, Earth had played the role of a weak, panicked civilization. But now, in the silence of deep space, the truth was waking. "Tactical," Kong said, "prepare full systems. But keep weapons cold. No emission. Not yet." Hegemony flagship, a growing fear. On the Eternal Glory, Officer Park, the hegemony science specialist, was staring at her console. Her face grew more confused with every passing second. "Admiral," she said, her voice shaking slightly. Admiral Kim turned. "Report. These readings at the edge of the system. They are changing. And they are organized patterns. Not natural." Kim walked to her station, his 4 eyes narrowing. The energy pulses on the screen were too regular, too exact. "Explain it," Kim demanded. Park hesitated. "It looks like something is phasing into normal space." Commander Choi snorted. "Impossible. Humans cannot bend space. Their technology is primitive." Park gulped. "Sir, the readings do not match human signatures, but they also do not match any species we know." Kim felt a creeping cold fear. Something was coming. Something large. "Admiral," another officer called out, "High Command is requesting a victory speech. They want you to." Kim raised a hand sharply. "No. Cancel it. Prepare the fleet for immediate combat readiness." The officer stared at him, surprised. "But sir, the humans are defeated." Kim's voice turned dark. "Then explain why something the size of a battleship is appearing in deep space. Something we cannot identify." The deck went silent. Kim stared at the scanner. "I want every ship ready. The humans are unpredictable. We cannot trust their defeat." Earth's hidden command, the countdown. In the underground bunker, General Song watched the countdown timer on the wall. T-10 hours until hegemony arrival. T-3 hours until dreadnought interception. "They will meet halfway," Admiral Han said. "Exactly where we want them." Colonel Yun swallowed. "Sir, what if the hegemony detects the dreadnoughts early?" "They won't," Admiral Han replied calmly. "Our dimensional drives hide all emissions until the last moment." General Song looked around the room. Every officer here knew what was at stake. "Humanity has never shown its true strength," Song said. "Today the galaxy will finally understand." A message suddenly appeared on the main screen. "Phantom Fleet online. All dreadnoughts report ready. Operation Lazarus, active." Song exhaled slowly. "Then let history witness what we kept hidden." The first contact, fear in the stars. The hegemony fleet continued its slow march toward Earth. Hundreds of cruisers, carriers, and gunships moved in tight formation. Officer Park looked up suddenly. "Admiral, there. Something just appeared." Kim rushed to the console. On the hologram, 12 enormous red signals flashed into existence. Commander Choi's jaw dropped. What are those?" "They're huge." Kim's voice was low and tense. "Zoom in." The hologram focused. And then, silence spread across the deck. 12 dark shapes emerged from the void. Their hulls absorbed all light. Their edges were sharp and unnatural. Their engines produced no heat signature. Kim felt his heart sink. These are human ships." "No," Choi shouted. "Impossible. Humans cannot build vessels this large. This is a trick." Park shook her head, her voice trembling. "They phased in from a dimensional pocket. That is technology beyond anything we ever imagined." Kim stared at the shapes on the screen. "What have the humans been hiding?" Dreadnought Bridge, a quiet threat. Captain Kong watched the hegemony fleet, now visible in the distance. Enemy is scanning us, his tactical officer said. Let them, Kang replied calmly. We want them to see us now. The dreadnoughts began forming a line across space. Their bright blue shields activated, glowing like ancient armor. Tactical, Kang said, open a transmission. Broadcast on all hegemony channels. A soft beep answered him. Kang stood tall, his voice calm and cold. This is Captain Kang of Earth's Phantom Fleet, he said. Your victory celebration was premature. A wave of shock passed through the hegemony fleet. On the Eternal Glory, Admiral Kim felt his throat tighten. You were hiding these ships? He whispered. Kang continued. For 10 years we hid our true strength. Today we end the war. Turn back now, or face the consequences. Shock across the galaxy. Back on the hegemony flagship, the officers stared in horror. They have dreadnoughts, Park whispered. 12 of them. Commander Choi's voice cracked. Admiral, these ships could destroy our entire front line. Kim clenched his jaw. They tricked us, he said quietly. For 10 years, they tricked all of us. Park looked at him with fear. Admiral, what are your orders? Kim's 4 eyes locked onto the hologram. Prepare all ships, he said. This war is not over. The 12 human dreadnoughts stood like a steel wall between Earth and the enormous hegemony invasion fleet. Their dark hulls absorbed the starlight, making them look like floating shadows in space, shadows powerful enough to change the fate of an entire galaxy. Inside humanity's shield, Captain Kang watched the enemy fleet approach with slow, heavy movement. Tactical, Kang said, estimate enemy reaction. Sir, the hegemony fleet is adjusting formation, the officer replied. They are spreading out. They are afraid of our size. Kang nodded. Good. Fear is the beginning of understanding. He studied the hologram. The hegemony fleet still outnumbered them massively, hundreds of ships against only 12 dreadnoughts. His XO spoke softly. Sir, if things go wrong. Kang raised a hand. We did not train for 10 years to doubt ourselves. We trained to win. Hegemony flagship, panic behind discipline. Admiral Kim felt the weight of the moment pressing down on him. The air in the Eternal Glory seemed colder than before. Officers whispered nervously. Commander Choi was pacing. Officer Park finally broke the silence. Admiral, the human ships are not just large. They're energy signatures. They do not match any known reactor type. Kim stiffened. Explain. Park breathed deeply. Sir, their power output is impossible. Even our largest battleships cannot reach this level. Choi slammed his fist against his console. How? Humans were supposed to be centuries behind us. Park looked down. Maybe, sir, maybe they were never behind. Kim's 4 eyes narrowed. He remembered the first time the hegemony found Earth. Its simple satellites, low-level spaceflight, weak weapons. Or so it appeared. Kim whispered, what if they hid everything from the beginning? A cold silence swept across the deck. Earth's hidden command, the final plan. Deep under the Rocky Mountains, the bunker lights flickered as new data streamed in. The dreadnoughts had reached their positions. General Song stood with Admiral Han and Colonel Yun, all watching the giant holographic map. Dreadnought line is stable, Yun reported. The hegemony fleet is slowing down. Of course they are, Admiral Han said. They've never seen ships like ours. General Song folded his arms. They need to understand something very important. Earth is not weak. We were never weak. We were cautious. He turned toward Han. Are the dreadnought commanders aware of Phase 2? Yes, she replied. If the hegemony attacks first, we respond with full force. Yun swallowed hard. Sir, the destructive power, is it truly necessary? Song answered without hesitation. If the hegemony reaches Earth, humanity ends. We cannot let that happen. The standoff in space. Between Earth and Jupiter, the hegemony fleet slowed to a crawl. The dreadnoughts stood in a perfect line, silent and still. On the Eternal Glory, sensors began to scream. Admiral, Park shouted. The human dreadnoughts are powering their weapons. Admiral Kim's body tensed. What kind of weapons? Park's hands trembled as she read the data. Sir, we have no idea. Our scanners cannot identify them. The readings are off the scale. Choi looked terrified. Admiral, we must fall back. No, Kim snapped. If we show weakness, they will destroy us. But Admiral. Silence. I will speak to the humans myself. Kim stepped forward. Open a channel to the lead dreadnought. 2 voices across the void. The communication channel activated with a soft click. Captain Kong appeared on the Eternal Glory's main screen, calm, composed, unshaken. Admiral Kim's 4 eyes stared at him. "This is Admiral Kim of the Jaime Hegemony," he said. "You have violated the terms of galactic warfare. You have used technology that was hidden during negotiations." Kong tilted his head slightly. "No, Admiral. We simply never showed you everything." Kim's voice grew louder. "These ships, these dreadnoughts, they do not belong in the hands of humans. You will deactivate them now and surrender." The human bridge crew looked at each other in disbelief. Kong stepped closer to the screen. "We will not surrender," he said softly. "And we will not deactivate anything. We are defending our home." Kim's eyes narrowed. "We outnumber you 50 to 1. Kong nodded calmly. "Then you may lose 50 ships." The hegemony bridge froze. "Or," Kong continued, "you may lose 500. Kim felt his mouth go dry. "Is that a threat?" he whispered. "It is a warning," Kong replied. Hegemony officers break. Commander Choi stepped forward, pointing a shaking finger at the screen. "You tricked us. You hid your true power. This is a violation of honor." Kang's eyes did not move. "For 10 years," he said, "you burned our colonies. You bombed our cities. You attacked our world without mercy." He leaned forward. "And now we defend it without mercy." Choi stepped back. His legs were shaking. A dangerous decision. Admiral Kim turned off the screen. Silence filled the command deck. Finally Kim spoke. "All ships, prepare to fire." Park gasped. "Admiral, if we attack first?" Kim's eyes were dark. "If we hesitate, we die." But deep inside he felt something he had not felt in decades. Fear. Real fear. Dreadnought Bridge, awakening the giants. Inside humanity's shield, Captain Kong received the news. "Sir, the hegemony is charging weapons," Tactical reported. Kong stood straight, his voice quiet but steady. "Activate full shields." The Dreadnought's massive engines hummed. The hull glowed faintly blue. The ship felt alive. "Prepare all main cannons," Kong said. The bridge lights dimmed. The floor vibrated. "Charge to 50% power," Kong ordered. "Do not fire unless they strike first." His XO nodded. "Understood." The Dreadnought crew moved with calm, practiced precision. They had waited 10 years for this. Seconds before war. Both fleets stood still. But the silence was not peace. It was the breath before a storm. A storm that would decide the fate of humanity and the entire galaxy. For a few seconds, nobody in the galactic fleet said a single word. The void felt heavier than gravity. Even the sound of breathing inside helmets seemed too loud. The 3 Earth dreadnoughts floated forward with calm confidence, as if the battle-worn enemy fleet was nothing more than passing dust. Their hulls carried no scratches, no burn marks, no signs of fear. They looked like giants walking into a room full of children. Admiral Kaler swallowed hard. This time not from pride, but from fear. He watched the center Earth dreadnought slowly rotate. Light spread across its surface like a living wave. Symbols appeared, simple, direct, and terrifying. "Identify yourselves." The words weren't spoken. They were felt. The message went straight into every mind on every ship. The crew gasped. The humans didn't just broadcast a signal, they pushed it inside their thoughts. Kaler tried to speak, but his voice broke. "Teach, this is Admiral Kaler of the Galactic Victory Fleet. We mean no harm." The fleet behind him stayed silent. Nobody dared interrupt. The humans replied instantly. "Unverified. Prepare for scan." Before Kaler could respond, a thin beam of white light swept across every ship. No explosion. No pain. No warning. Just a feeling, the feeling of every secret being pulled out and placed on an invisible table. Crew members screamed as memories flashed before their eyes. Battles. Victories. Cruelties. Cowardice. Everything. Kaler felt his own memory pulled out. The moment he ordered the attack on the colony. The moment he declared a false victory. The beam vanished. Silence returned. But nobody felt safe anymore. A calm human voice finally echoed. "Your actions violate Article 7 of Interstellar Conduct." Kaler blinked. We didn't know humans enforce those laws." The voice responded. "We don't enforce laws. We enforce consequences." The words hit the entire fleet like a meteor. Suddenly, all 3 dreadnoughts activated their front plating. Dark panels split open. Massive energy chambers hummed with quiet power. The aliens stared at the impossible weapons forming in front of them. Power readings skyrocketed so fast that half the ship's screens shut down to avoid damage. One officer whispered, "Those cannons could erase planets." Another whispered, "No, they could erase star systems." Kaler knew they were right. He also knew the dreadnoughts were not even aiming at them yet. They were only showing a warning. A final message came from the humans, calm, polite, and deadly. "Stand down. You have one chance." Kaler's whole body trembled. Around him, every captain, every crew member, every soldier felt the truth. The battle they celebrated, the victory they claimed, the war they thought they won, meant nothing now. In front of Earth's dreadnoughts, they were powerless. Kaler lowered his eyes. His pride collapsed like weak metal. "We stand down," he whispered. The moment he said the words, every ship in the fleet sent the same signal. Surrender lights flashed across millions of kilometers of space. The dreadnoughts dimmed their weapon glow. But they did not leave. They did not relax. They simply watched. Silent. Cold. Judging. Kaler realized something terrifying. Earth wasn't here to talk. Earth was here to decide. And the fleet had no idea what humans would choose next. The galactic fleet floated in absolute stillness. Weapons powered down. Shields lowered. Millions of soldiers holding their breath. But the Earth dreadnoughts didn't move. They stayed in formation, 3 silent titans blocking the stars, watching the surrendering fleet like ancient judges carved from metal and light. Admiral Kaler felt as if the entire universe was staring at him alone. Then, a soft pulse of blue light rippled across the human ships. Something was happening. Every alien officer on every bridge looked up. Data screens activated on their own. Transmission channels opened automatically. There was no way to stop it. A human hologram appeared. Not one person. Not a face. Not a commander. It was a symbol, an Earth insignia made of shifting energy, glowing with cold authority. A deep, steady voice spoke. "You have committed violations against a protected world." Kaler froze. A protected world? The colony? That small, weak outpost they crushed earlier? Yes, the voice answered his thoughts. Humans were reading everything. Every doubt. Every fear. That world had a human presence. Kaler's blood ran cold. Suddenly the entire fleet understood. They hadn't just attacked a colony. They had attacked something humans cared about. The voice continued. "Your celebration broadcast claimed total victory. You believed the war was over. You believed humanity was not watching." The hologram dimmed. Then brightened sharply. "You were wrong." The fleet shook, not physically but emotionally. The weight of those words crushed every heart. Kaler forced himself to speak. We apologize. We did not know humans would intervene so directly." The hologram's glow tightened, almost like eyes narrowing. "We did not intervene. We arrived." Kaler didn't understand at first. But then the side of the largest dreadnought shifted, revealing something monstrous behind its armor. A gate. A dimension rift. A folded space corridor burning with white fire. The aliens stared in horror. Humans didn't travel by warp. Humans didn't travel by hyperdrive. Humans bent space around themselves. The realization crashed into the fleet. Earth's dreadnoughts didn't just appear. They could appear anywhere. Any system. Any battlefield. Any moment. Kaler whispered the truth to himself. Nothing can stop them. The hologram spoke again. "You will answer for your actions." Suddenly the dreadnoughts emitted a low-frequency hum. Every ship in the galactic fleet felt their systems freeze. Engines locked. Thrusters disabled. Weapons sealed. Even life support went into human-controlled mode. Alien engineers screamed in confusion. "We're not controlling the ship. Everything is locked out. They have full access to our core." Kaler stared at the hologram in horror. What are you doing to us?" The answer was simple, calm, and terrifying. "We are rewriting your fate." A beam of white light shot out from the central dreadnought. Not an attack beam, something far stranger. It connected to every ship. Threads of data. Energy. Code. The whole fleet shook as if dragged into a storm. Then the hologram spoke. "Your fleet will follow us." Kaler gasped. You're taking us prisoner?" "No." The hologram pulsed brighter. "We are taking you to the colony you destroyed." The bridge went dead silent. Kaler felt a wave of dread so deep it almost broke him. Why there?" The human voice answered. "So you can see what you have done. So you can hear the voices you silenced. So you can understand the weight of your actions." The aliens trembled. This was not punishment. This was judgment. The dreadnoughts turned slowly, opening a massive corridor of folded space. Its glow was so bright that every ship had to dim their screens. The human voice delivered the final command. Follow or be erased. The galactic fleet had no choice. Their systems were locked. Their fates were sealed. The ships moved forward. Not by their engines. Not by their choice. But by Earth's control. Kaler watched the stars stretch and twist as the fleet entered the human rift. The last thing he saw before the light swallowed them was the central dreadnought. Silent. Immovable. Unstoppable. He whispered the truth every alien now knew. Humans are gods. The galactic fleet moved through the human rift like a chain pulled by unseen hands. No engines. No control. No freedom. Every alien officer stared helplessly as the fold space corridor twisted around their ships, bending reality like melted metal. Admiral Kaler felt his throat tighten. He had entered hyperspace thousands of times, but this wasn't travel. It was being transported like an object carried by a giant. He whispered, "Humans do this casually?" His officers had no answers. The rift opens. The white corridor suddenly shattered into clear space. The fleet emerged near a small blue planet glowing with soft light. Not Earth. Not a major world. The colony. The one they attacked. The one they destroyed. It looked peaceful from a distance. Too peaceful. Kaler felt something wrong the moment he saw it. The atmosphere shimmered as if hiding something beneath the clouds. Then the dreadnought sent a pulse. A wave of energy hit the planet. The illusion broke. The colony appeared as it truly was. Cities in ruins. Smoke rising. Burned forests. Silence where millions once lived. Every alien stared in horror at the destruction. The destruction they caused. A hollow voice filled every ship. "This is your victory." Kaler closed his eyes in shame. The voices of the fallen. A second pulse hit the planet. This time the entire fleet heard something. Crying. Screaming. The final messages of families hiding in bunkers. Children calling for help that never came. Emergency beacons. Heartbeats fading. It was the last recording of the colony's population. Humans had saved every sound. Every message. Every goodbye. Kaler's legs weakened. His officers wept openly. Science Officer Pell collapsed to her knees. "We didn't know," she whispered. "We didn't know they were still alive." But the human voice answered. "You didn't try to know." The words stabbed deeper than any weapon. The judgment begins. The dreadnoughts formed a circle around the planet. Their hulls glowed red. Like burning metal. Like anger made visible. The hologram appeared again. Not a symbol this time. A woman. Human. Come. Cold. A judge of Earth. Her eyes glowed white, not with rage but with purpose. "You cannot undo what you destroyed. But you will not escape its memory." Kaler forced himself to speak. "Human judge, we accept our guilt. What will be our punishment?" The judge did not blink. "You will rebuild this world." Every alien officer gasped. "Not death. Not destruction. Responsibility." "You will restore every city," the judge said. "You will plant every tree. You will purify every ocean. You will rebuild every life that was lost." Kaler swallowed. "But how long?" "This will take centuries." The judge nodded. "Yes, it will." Kaler felt a strange mix of fear and relief. This was not a punishment meant to hurt. This was a punishment meant to teach. Earth's final warning. The judge raised a hand. Behind her, the three dreadnoughts powered up. Not weapons, but something far worse. A reveal. Panels opened across their hulls. And the aliens saw something impossible. Each dreadnought carried technology older than the galaxy. Older than the hegemony. Older than Kaler's entire species. Ancient human power. A hidden legacy. A sleeping monster finally awake. The judge spoke. "We kept our strength hidden for one reason, so the galaxy would never fear us." Her eyes hardened. "But you forced us to show it." Every alien trembled. The judge leaned forward. "Do not make us show more." For the first time, Kaler understood. Humans were not expanding. Not conquering. Not ruling. They were protecting themselves. And protecting everyone else from something even worse. The judge faded. The message lingered. Rebuild the colony. Respect human borders. Do not test Earth again. The aftermath. The rift opened again. But this time it did not drag the aliens. It waited. As if giving them a choice. Kaler turned to his crew. "Set course. We begin rebuilding at once." There was no resistance. No argument. No pride left. only understanding. The galactic fleet descended toward the broken colony, not as conquerors, but as workers, as servants of a justice far higher than their own. Above them, the dreadnoughts watched silently, like guardians, like titans, like sleeping gods. Kayla whispered, "Humans are not what we thought." He lowered his head. "They are what the galaxy needs." And so the real work began. The punishment, the lesson, the awakening. The war was over. The era of fear was over. The era of respect had started. And humanity had finally revealed its true place in the stars.